God, our Creator, tonight we gather to celebrate the culture of our Bahamian students and their at Maritime College. We thank you for the gifts and talents put upon these students, and in particular, we recognize the artistic giftedness that we've seen displayed this evening. Bless all of us and the food we are about to eat, and as always, help us to be mindful of those who have less than we. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge my allegiance to the flag and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, for which it stands, one people united in love and service. Thank you. Ms. Adacia Woodside, please welcome her.
It is indeed a great privilege to honor each and every one of you here today. We have our guest speaker, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, Minister of Foreign Affairs from the Bahamas. We have the Bahamas Consulate represented here in the person of the Vice Consulate, Ms. Sandra Pointer-McLaughlin. We have represented the Bahamian American Association, the Bahamian American Cultural Society, other Bahamians from the New York area. Giving the Admiral's address tonight, we have Dr. Richard Burke, the head of the engineering department. We have our fellow teachers and students celebrating with us. Welcome. This night is a night to showcase the Bahamian culture and mostly the food, which everyone says they come for. Okay with that. We hope that you're enjoying it thus far. I didn't get a yes. Is that a yes? Thank you, thank you. We have my sister and my mom. They flew down from the Bahamas just to prepare your conch salad and the conch fritters, and to also bring the Dunkin' fritters. I would show them to you, but they told me not to, so I'll just tell you that they're here. We hope that you are enjoying everything this evening. Do you love the sodas? Does anyone have a taste? I don't know. People say different tastes. Is there something? Yes, she said, okay. Good. Okay, that's all we need. We just want to thank everyone for coming tonight, and we're going to start the program. We don't want to hold you up. Being served now. I think some of you already had it, and it's all gone. Plates are empty. Okay, good sign. That would be the conch fritters. Definitely a native to the Bahamas. We will drive any distance to get it, or just ask your mom like me to cook it. Right now, without delay, we're going to have the Admiral's remarks by Dr. Richard.
To bring recognition to Dr. Eugene Nuri and Mrs. Nuri. Dr. Eugene Nuri is the ambassador to the United Nations. He's also here with us. So please welcome him and his wife. I'll be very brief. And Dr. Burke paid me well to say all of these nice things about it. Dr. Richard Burke serves as Executive Director of the Global Maritime Center, Maritime College's outreach portal, research and development, managerial and executive education, and training. Previous to his appointment, he chaired the Maritime College Engineering Department from 2002 until 2012 and is currently serving as interim chairman. Before returning to Maritime College, Dr. Burke taught at the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute and served as director of MBA and MS programs in the Institute's Lally School of Management and Technology in New York. He also has a number of years of experience in the shipping and shipbuilding industry. He worked as a statistician for the U.S. Department of Energy R&D laboratory, and he has consulted widely in manufacturing, new product development, and healthcare. Richard Burke has degrees in naval architecture and marine engineering from the State University of New York Maritime College and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and a PhD in industrial engineering and operations research from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Dr. Burke has interests in applying statistical and operations research methods to business, industrial, and healthcare problems. He has a special interest in quality management, quality control. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Richard Burke.
Thank you, Conrad. That was money well spent. Minister, Ambassador, honored guests, it is my honor to welcome you to Maritime College on behalf of Rear Admiral Carpenter, who could not be here this evening. I must say that we are all very happy that you have joined us this evening. Also, Minister, we here at Maritime College must take this opportunity to offer our congratulations to you, to your government, and to the people of the Bahamas for the 40th anniversary of Bahamian independence. For 4 centuries, until the early part of the 20th century, before roads, railroads, and airplanes took over some of the trade, most goods shipped through the east coast of the American continents were moved by sea. The coastwise schooner was both the 18-wheeler and the jumbo jet of those days. Those ships were crewed by mariners of many countries over all of those waters. And back then it was clearly accepted and known that among the finest seamen in the world were those who came from the islands of the Caribbean basin. I'm reminded of the psalm wherein it is said, "Save me, O God, for the waters have come up to my neck. I sink in deep mire and there is no foothold. I come into deep waters and the flood sweeps over me." This is not an idle prayer for those coming from a place where most of the land is only a few meters above the water. It is seamanship learned by natural selection. Well, I must say, we here at Maritime are the beneficiary recipients of all of that learning. We are very proud of our Bahamian students who work very hard, who learn well, and who go on to do great things in their careers. They study business, commerce, navigation, engineering, and we expect that they will use their knowledge and their talents to help write the history of future decades of Bahamian independence. It was my privilege about a year ago to represent Rear Admiral Carpenter at the signing of a memorandum of understanding with the College of the Bahamas, a relationship that Canada Shipping has done much to foster. During our visit, I was accompanied by Captain Nadolny. We were treated to the warmest hospitality and impressed by the rigor and detail of the planning that has gone into this partnership that we now share. We look forward to growing this relationship. We're very glad that you have chosen to be with us tonight to see how much we enjoy having our Bahamian students with us and perhaps to make a little party. I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce Captain Nadolny. Captain Nadolny is Vice Chairman of the Department of Marine Transportation here at Maritime College and holds a master's license in the Bahamian flag.
Very proudly hold a master's license in the Bahamian flag on my head. On behalf of the faculty, I'd like to welcome you all here tonight. I have the honor of addressing you by being asked by some of my Bahamian students, and we appreciate that. Welcome, faculty, welcome students, welcome honored guests, ambassador, minister. I'm a graduate of this institution, class of 1978, and I went to school back then with a number of Bahamians. A few of you may know Clayton Curtis. I believe he's affiliated with Bahamian Sea Cadet Corps. Back in the day, he was a major of the band, and I gave him fits because I was trombone and right behind him, usually poking him with my slide. I had a number of classmates from the Bahamas. Don Archer, one. For a good part of my career, I sailed in the Caribbean. Heavy oil, Delta steamship, small research vessels, actually working in Bahamian waters. My first captain's job was on a small research vessel at the University of Miami in the Bahamas. Later in my career, I had I guess, the privilege of going back there because I was working for Carnival Cruise Lines. I enjoyed spending every Friday and Saturday night for about 2 years in Nassau, staff captain and environmental officer on the Carnival Fascination. Great deal of the crew were Bahamian, and that went from cabin attendants to senior staff. We had a Bahamian food and beverage manager. His name was Lindley. He told me he was a magician. With Carnival, he could take 50 cents worth of ingredients and turn it into a $9 drink. Lindley was a very valued. I had the opportunity when I went with Dick to meet a number of members of Bahamian shipping companies, ambassadors, as well as the VP of the College of Bahamas several years ago. And I asked a question. I've been sailing with Bahamians with Carnival. It's the third largest flag in the world. Why are there so few Bahamian masters and chief engineers? And that conversation led to more conversations and the trips that Dick was alluding to, where we had the honor of sitting down with the College of Bahamas and putting together a joint degree program between us and the Bahamas that will lead to a Bahamian maritime college with the hopes of opening the wider Caribbean. And again, as Dick alluded to, some of the finest on this planet. In my 8 years here, I've had the honor of teaching Bahamian students. I say honor because they and you here are amongst the best students I have ever had. You're ambassadors of a very great, and at 40 years, a very new nation. You bring basically what most teachers really look for. You bring a great attitude, a sense of humor, and importantly, willingness to learn. For that, as a professor, I thank my Bahamian students. I've learned from you just as you have learned from me. I look forward to continuing involvement with the Bahamian program, more Bahamian students, and I look forward to spending the 50th anniversary of your nation, hopefully in Nassau with a big plate of fried conch.
Thank you again, Dr. Burke. And thank you also, Captain Adolny, for your remarks. I wanted to pay special attention also to Commodore David Roll, who is here representing the Bahamas Maritime Authority, and he's the Managing Director and CEO. He's also with us. Please give him a round of applause.
Attorney Fred Mitchell was born in Nassau, Bahamas on October 5, 1953 to the late Frederick A. Mitchell Sr. and Lilia Angelina Mitchell. He received his early education at Easton Junior School and St. Augustine's College, completing his tertiary education at Adenoch College, Harvard University, and the University of Buckingham, with a bachelor's degree in English Literature, master's in Public Administration, and Bachelor of Laws. He has also attained professional certificates of calls to both the English and Bahamas bars. Mr. Mitchell, before becoming minister, was a sole practitioner at Gwendolyn House. He has worked at the Bahamas Tourist News Bureau, Bahamas Information Service Broadcasting Corporation, and various government and private entities. Mr. Mitchell served as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Public Service from 2002 to 2007, Chairman of the Senate Select Committee on Culture 1992 through 1997, former Chairman of Council for Foreign and Community Relations of CARICOM, founding member of the Bahamas Committee on Southern Africa. He has also recently chaired the Commonwealth Expert for Presidential Elections Committee. As Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mitchell was instrumental in fighting to integrate Haiti as a member state of CARICOM. He also negotiated a number of important international agreements on behalf of the Bahamas, including the Schengen Visa Agreement and the European Partnership Agreement. He is also instrumental in establishing the Bahamian Diplomatic Mission in Cuba. During his tenure, he also established the Bahamas Embassy in China. As a member of Parliament for Fox Hill, Mitchell established a permanent constituency office in the community that is now used as a community center for Fox Hillians. He has been instrumental in community building within Fox Hill and has been a great benefactor to the local schools within the eastern area, particularly Sunlands Primary, L.W. Young, and Dorrance Johnson. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Mr. Fred Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Strawn, Dr. Burke, and all the officers and faculty members and staff here of the university and the Maritime College. It's a let me warmly greet you tonight and say what an honor and privilege it is to be with you this evening, and to have with me all the other representatives of the various parts of the Bahamas government who are here, from the consulate, our ambassador designate, and of course from the Maritime Authority, Commodore Roll. This is my second visit that I made here as Minister of Foreign Affairs. When you were listening to the biography, I served as Minister of Foreign Affairs from 2002 to 2007, and I came here along with the Minister of Transport then to visit the school. And I was saying to Dr. Burke that seemed to me like a lifetime ago, when I was asked to come and encourage Bahamian students who were then engaging in learning for careers in the merchant marine, which was quite a new discipline as far as I was concerned in those days. And I remember in particular a student named Dominic Wright. And today he is a big grown man with his own career. So it tells you what is possible. And I want to bring you greetings from Nassau and the rest of the Bahamas, including Freeport, from your compatriots, and especially from Prime Minister Perry Christie and my colleague, Minister of Education, Jerome Fitzgerald, in whose stead I stand this evening. In addition to the bit about honor and privilege that I said at the start, I want to say it's a special pleasure. We don't get often the time to have a structured dialogue and interaction with those who are going to take our places. And I want to see who's coming behind me while I can still see with my two eyes. So I greet you this evening on what would have been the eve of the birthday, had he still been alive, of the founder of our country, Lyndon Pindling. Tomorrow, the 22nd of March, he was born on the 22nd of March, 1930. So had he been alive tomorrow, he would have been 83. Sadly, he passed away in 2000. And I had the opportunity to work with him as he plotted the course forward that you are now moving along today. The nation he established with his colleagues 40 years ago is what you are going back to live in. And I remember him this evening because even though we will be marking 40 years of independence in a few days, and none of you were born when the great event took place, it seems to me that the themes that drove it are the same. The United Nations likes to use the expression self-determination. And I think it sums up a lot. Independence means that the people who live in a particular geographical location get to regulate and govern themselves, develop their culture, and plot their own course in the world. And you will be increasingly called upon to join in the business of governance, even as you work to raise your families. A few days ago, I was in a meeting of my constituency branch, and the speaker was a man named Michael Halkitis. He's now the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance and effectively runs the Ministry of Finance on a day-to-day basis. And I believe one day he will be the Minister of Finance himself, or even higher. I first met him when he was a college student at the College of the Bahamas. He was one of the students in the class Politics and Government, which I was teaching as a substitute teacher for a lecturer who had gone to study for his PhD. And he was definitely the brightest of the class. That was 1988. And by the year 2002, he had run for office and had become the parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Finance. And now he is a minister of the government. So I gave that example because it shows you how quickly time flies when you will take your own rightful place in running the country. And if you think about it, in just over a decade, he steps out of being a college student into being a junior minister in the government. And that's a really quick time. Indeed, my own experience did not permit me to have a break at all. I was telling Dr. Burke that the whole time I was in college, well, when I stepped out of high school, as a matter of fact, to the whole time I was in college, I was working for the Bahamas government in some form or other. When I stepped out of school, I went straight to work in the public sector as a journalist, and I've not stopped working since then. And for me, politics was such a compelling subject that I had no other interest. I met Lyndon Pindling in 1969 as a high school student at St. Augustine's College. And he had come to speak to us, and he invited us to come to witness the proceedings of the House of Assembly. And then after the proceedings of the House of Assembly were finished, he invited us to lunch. And this was an experience of a lifetime. And I struck up a lifetime relationship so that by the time the general election came along in 1982, virtually every day, I began my day with him from 7 o'clock in the morning until 9, 10 o'clock at night, every day. And you got to see him work and operate up close and in a very personal way. Now, you belong to a different generation. I belong to the one who inherited the mantle or got the baton of the founders. And they left us with this vision of an independent, confident country and told us that it was ours to settle the economic future of the country, since they had largely won the political battles. It is that economic battle that I want to urge you to join today. To some extent, you've already joined the battle by the very educational choices which you've made and in the courses of study in which you now participate. You are part of a pioneering generation of Bahamians engaged in this field, deepening our participation and success in a field which was started when the founders of the country established the Bahamas as a shipping registry a generation ago. The country now has to not just be a shipping registry, but should also supply the labor to man the ships, to own the ships, to manage the ships. And that's what you're doing. And it is that enterprise which we want to encourage generally. It is in that enterprise that we encourage you to succeed. When I was here the last time, I spoke to the officials at the school, and they kept saying how pleased they were at the quality of the students from the Bahamas, their deportment, their aptitude. And they asked us if we could send more students, and lo and behold, we have. And I heard tonight the same remarks coming about the quality of the students, the deportment, and the aptitude. Again, I was saying to one of the officials of the school, I was reminded, though, of the story that Bill Cosby tells about when he was a little boy and he would spend the night over at a friend's house. And when his friend's parents would take him back to his own parents and drop him home, they say, "My, your son is so well behaved. What do you do to keep him so well behaved? You must teach him a lot of things at home." And I said, you know, the parents are usually taken aback because they always think that their child is not as well behaved at all. So you are doing a good job for us, and I want to congratulate you for that. It's a real success story And I think all of us are proud of you. So I congratulate you on this wonderful choice and opportunity. And I have no doubt that you're acquitting yourselves well as you learn the lessons which this institution offers. And I want to thank the school and the American community for welcoming our students and treating them with respect and affection while they have their course of study. I've met with many of the former students who attended this school, who are now doing piloting jobs in the Bahamas. Many of them live in Freeport, and they have asked me to send fraternal greetings to you all and to say you should hang in there. They are fighting the good fight, working along with the government and the immigration authorities to protect jobs for Bahamians, but they encourage you to look farther than piloting into other fields that are available. Marine engineering, marine architecture, among some of the subjects that I remember them talking about. And I've spoken to the leaders of industry, like Campbell Shipping and Freeport Tug and Towing and Stat Oil, about their hopes for the Bahamian students, their commitment to training, and the expansion of opportunities for Bahamians. So you have, in my view, a banquet of opportunities laid out for you, and I hope you will do well. I also hope that you remember that just as those who went before us saw to it that our future was assured by leaving a rich legacy of hope, you have to have the same responsibility. It does not mean that you have to come home either, because that's another fallacy I think people have about this notion that you must come back to the Bahamas. My view is, wherever you are in the world, you represent the Bahamas and you take the Bahamas with you. And you spread the Bahamas with you wherever you go. And so don't feel that you must come back, although I'm sure many want to come back. It means that wherever you are, however, you must extend the hand backwards to lift up those who are struggling to get to where you are. And that is the solemn pledge which you must take. I therefore will take back to the Bahamas my experience tonight at this campus. I've enjoyed it immensely. I even got to talk about my favorite subject tonight, which is actually governance, and how we can design a better system of governance, and also to get the opportunity to encourage you to understand that even though you are in your own specific disciplines, that in fact you fit into the pastiche of the whole cloth of the Bahamas. And you must make a contribution to building up what the Anglican Church calls the common life of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The bit in the Mass that says we must do the things that make for peace and build up the common life. And that, I think, is a commitment, a broader commitment, which all of us have to make who get this very special and rare opportunity to get this broad-based education, which will give us a skill to raise our families and enrich our country. So I've enjoyed this experience very much tonight on this campus. I'm glad to be back. Enjoyed it immensely. I'm glad to meet you all. And I wish you every success in the school. I look forward to your taking your rightful place in our country. And remember, it's only going to be 10 years and a little bit more before you, in fact, may be standing in the very place that I am and giving the same kind of speech. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Minister Mitchell, for that speech. We'll now like to call Lehman Pearson to present an award.
Good evening. SUNY Maritime, May 1975 graduate, majoring in mathematics, computer science, DEC, a U.S. Coast Guard certified third mate, steam and motor vessel unlimited license, a commission in the United States Naval Reserve, an ensign. This honoree has his roots in the very place in which he affects change. He taught freshman math and computer science and moved to upper division courses. His sense of humor was popular with the students, not only because he brought smiles but success. He became involved in the curriculum development and faculty and student policies looking to increase the retention of new students. A good deal of this involved creating a sequence of pre-calculus courses and diagnostic math placement tests for incoming freshmen. These courses and placement testing are still being used today. This innovative gentleman produced a noticeable improvement in freshman success. Dr. Hoffman has always been and continues to be interested in and dedicated to the success of all students. So today, the students of the Society of Bahamian Merchant Mariners would like to take this time to induct him as an honorary Bahamian. Not only campus-wide contributions, but for his work and dedication to the students from the Bahamas. As provost, he increased the college's international profile through active membership in the International Association of Maritime Universities and various articulation agreements with institutions of higher education in the Bahamas, Turkey, Norway, South Korea, and China. In 2011, he became one of Maritime's first administrative members of the American Delta Kappa Leadership Honorary Society. And today, we welcome him into the Honorary Bahamian Society. Please help me welcome Dr. Joseph Hoffman.
We would like to invite Minister Fred Mitchell to present the award. It seems only fitting, seeing as how he dons his Bahamian tie every year.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Person. We'd like to call Leonard Hudson to present our second award.
Good night. Our second honoree graduated from SUNY Maritime College in the year 1978 with a bachelor's degree in transportation economics and management, along with his United States Coast Guard license. As a young third mate, he worked his way up to chief mate, working on various ships such as tankers, break bulks, container ships, and also passenger vessels. After 10 years at sea, he decided to go back to college, where he graduated from Tufts University to gain his master's with environmental planning and policy. He then changed his focus from the operational side to the managerial side of the maritime industry. He then later on became the environmental officer for both Norwegian and Carnival Cruise Lines. In 2005, he came back to his roots at SUNY Maritime College, where he currently teaches both grad and undergrad classes. Classes such as environmental law and policy, environmental management, what I actually had with him last semester, ship's instructions, tankers, basic safety, and also terrestrial navigation, just to name a few. He is currently the vice chair for the Marine Transportation Department, delegate to the UN's IMO, for no one who actually knows that, it's the International Maritime Organization, and is also a member of the Maritime Environmental Protection Committee. Our honoree has been called father, son, mate, captain, and professor, and as of today we call him Bahamian. Everyone, please give a round of applause to our honoree, Captain Walter Donald.
We would like to call the Vice Consulate to present this award. Thank you, Leo. Our third and final honoree. Who better to introduce this gentleman than someone who I think is in his office more than his students, because I take no classes with him. Professor Conrad Linton. Many of you think he is from the Bahamas. I've been asked that so many times. So it is only fitting that we officially deem him honorary Bahamian. Professor Conrad Linton was born in Dominica. So that answers a lot of questions that everyone always asks. I sat in Professor Linton's office a few days ago, and I said, Professor Linton, I'm trying to write a bio for you. We're going to publish it in something. You know, I don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but just trying to throw him off course. But I think he knew exactly what it was for. He gave me a hard time. And he said to me, you know what I want you to put in this? I prefer the Freeport students over the Nassau students. And it only made me smile because the person who has to present this award to him today is from Nassau. So I hope you can like us just a little bit more. Without further ado, because he needs no introduction, our club advisor, here from the very beginning, from the start of the Society of Bahamian Merchant Mariners. He is godfather, father, that's just mostly it, just father. Everyone thinks he's our dad. Please help me welcome Professor Conrad Linton. I'm going to call Commodore Davy Roll to present this award. Okay, I'll definitely try to stay stationary here. On behalf of the Society of Bahamian Merchant Mariners, we would like to thank, again, our guest speaker, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, who came all the way from the Bahamas just to speak here tonight. Thank you. It was truly an honor to have you here. And to all of our honorees, you are now a Bahamian. Officially, Professor Linton. So we will now have a presentation of the awards from the SUNY Maritime of our guests. I'll call Kyron Cooper.
Once again, just to interject and to, I guess, add on to where Adasi had finished, we want to say thank you very much for taking out your time out of your day to be here with us. It's very important to us, and this dinner we know that all of you have been asking all semester about it, and we just want you to know that we really, really genuinely appreciate you being here. Thank you all so much. You can give yourself a round of applause. Thank you so much. And to our honored guests, we have three gifts for our three speakers. One of them, of course, being the Honorable Minister, one being Dr. Burke, and the other one being our Deputy Consul General. So we would like to ask our minister to come at this time as we present him with this award. On behalf of the Society of Bahamian Merchant Mariners, Honorable Minister, we would like to say thank you very much. Thank you for taking your time and investing in us and always putting us as Bahamian young people first. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Richard Burke, can you come at this time? We would like to say thank you on behalf of the Society of Bahamian Merchant Mariners for speaking, for taking time out of your busy schedule and speaking on behalf of the Admiral. We really appreciate it, and we pray that God continue to bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And the Deputy Consul General.
Sorry. Many of you don't know, but if there is anything that I need, this is the person that I call. She was there to step in when the Consul General stepped down, and we are all honored to have her here. She is our liaison, I'd say, for everything that is needed between all of the Bahamian organizations here in the Bahamas, and she's the one who introduces us to fellow Bahamian students throughout the New York area. And we are very happy and honored to have her here today, and we just like to show us our small, in just a small way, our appreciation to her. So if we can just give her a round of applause. I want to just thank you for everything that you have done for this society.
Miss Effie sent her daughter to college, but Miss Effie didn't know her daughter was slow. Still went ahead and sent her to the College of the Bahamas. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the trouble they had at that college? So here we go. Miss Effie and the daughter she sent to college. She didn't know she was slow. She still sent her. She didn't know how to write any essays, but listen very well. And you will know just how bright she is, particularly in the last verse.
Dr. Mary Ellen Keefe to come and give us the benediction.
Oh, nourishing God, we thank you for the food and fellowship we have shared this evening. We ask your special blessing on our Bahamian students as they go forth to achieve the goals you have inspired. Bless their parents, the faculty at Maritime, and all who have helped these young men and women to achieve success. Enable them to share their talents with those less fortunate, and inspire all of those to help one another to make our world a place of peace and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you all for coming. You may help yourself to desserts, and for those of you who did not view the Bahamian art downstairs, you still have the opportunity to. They are still on display, and we would definitely like to thank Mistress Beryl Edgecombe, who provided all of the Bahamian art that you see downstairs. She is from the she is the president of the Bahamian American Cultural Society. So we want to thank her for that exhibit, and we would like you to view it. Any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. She's the lady organizing, operating the camera there, so she can't be missed. Any questions, please ask. Thank you for coming.